Saturday Queen's Park, 12 o'clock. But yeah, so we have people coming in from all over today because we are all seeing the same thing, and we are all asking for our college to be held responsible and to do the right thing.
Yes.
So before we end, I'm just going to read my speech, and then we're going to get everyone hold up your signs that you want a picture, especially some of the signs that we've handed out with professionals against lockdowns. There's some over there, and I believe they want those collected at the end too, just so you don't go home with them. And we do have a big announcement just to wrap things up. So, big announcement, it's exciting. So today we come together in unity, standing before you, risking it all to remember our oath as nurses in the irreplaceable role we play in upholding goodness and decency for the health of our patients and the public. We are the eyes, the ears, and the heartbeat of hospitals. Many of us have lost our jobs and our licenses are being threatened. Yet we are here today to stand up for the truth, whatever the cost may be. I am Kristen Nagel, a nurse, holistic nutritionist, and a mom. I was publicly slandered and defamed, terminated, and my license is under investigation by these guys for speaking truth and standing up for our rights and freedoms. They tried to silence me, bully me, and break me. But little did they know that the harder they tried to take my voice away, they only made it stronger and louder. It has united me with you, everyone here today, and the nurses that are standing before you, here and across the globe, that are doing the same, speaking truth. I was taught in nursing to be a critical thinker, to follow evidence-based best practice, to ask questions, and to advocate for a patient's health. Yet I've come to realize this means only if it fits the narrative. As we've heard already many times today, the college has told us that we will be reprimanded if we speak out against masks, social distancing, vaccination, or any public health mandates. And this is why so many are unable to speak up, and why we are here today to bring awareness to the censorship of nurses. What is astounding about this is that we are speaking out on egregious violations to our code of conduct as nurses. We're speaking against the rapid deterioration of our standard of care and subsequently the quality of patients' mental health and physical health this past year. The cure is clearly worse than the disease. We can do better, and we should strive to do so. We are losing meaningful connection and dehumanizing each other. I have witnessed this in the neonatal intensive care unit. As strict restrictions were put in place, mothers admitted to the antenatal unit were told they could only have one support person. They were sometimes there for weeks, if not months. This meant going without seeing family, including their other children, and sometimes their own partner.
Somebody used to go to jail for this.
During an already stressful experience with a high-risk pregnancy, we are worsening the burden on mom and baby, as well as increasing loneliness and fear. Mothers are now being told to wear a mask during labor. Parents are being told that they must take a PCR test before entering the hospital. And if they refuse to do so, they're being threatened that they will not be able to see their baby for 3 days if admitted to the NICU. Fathers are also not welcome in the OR for the birth of their baby during a C-section. If a mother has to be put under general anesthetic during the C-section, both parents miss the birth of their child. Having a baby admitted into the NICU is a terrifying experience for parents. We are now denying them support at the bedside, as only one parent is allowed within 24 hours. Our micro-preemies can be in the unit for up to 100 days. This is a time of immense grief, stress, and worry, and now parents are going through this alone. Separating families and their support is completely unethical and has grave long-term effects on the parents, but also the health and resilience of their baby. Parents are also told to wear a mask when in contact with their own child. It gets worse. Mothers are told to wash their skin prior to breastfeeding. Ridiculous! What message does this send? We are dirty? Our own children can be harmed by our touch? When a baby is born, now they only see their masked mother's face.
Do not comply. Do not comply.
The still-face experiment has proven the devastating psychological damages this has on babies. Without seeing facial expressions, they are distraught, emotional, and fearful. They are scared of the very people that are meant to keep them safe, secure, and loved. Our children are now being raised in fear. Fear of each other, fear of the world, fear of illnesses, viruses, and germs, even the air we breathe. They are being taught to fear everything, including themselves, as the messaging is they are walking threats carrying possible disease. As a nurse and a mother, I cannot stand idly by and watch the devastation lockdowns and public health mandates are having on our elderly, our children, local businesses, and our communities. People are gravely suffering, and it is our job to stand up against harm. It is our job to not just do no harm, but to do good. During an unprecedented time in history, the college is allowing the quality of the standard of care to be suspended rather than expecting us to uphold it to the highest degree. You can see this on their website. In our training, we were taught to be nurse advocates and agitators. This should never have been removed from our roles. Do not ignore your gut feeling that something is very wrong.
Woo! Yes.
Not only are you liable for not reporting, it is the right thing to do.
Yes.
If we all stand for what is right, we will correct the course of our declining healthcare system and set the course for improved establishment working towards true health and well-being. In one short year, we have forgotten that as nurses, we have all pledged with Florence Nightingale before God and in the presence of this assembly to pass our lives in purity and practice our profession faithfully, agreeing to never take or administer any harmful drug. Hence this biologic gene therapy. By committing to elevate the standard of our profession, we must recognize that we are the first and last line of defense in our society for decency, integrity, and compassion. We have the first and last opportunity to do the honorable and dignified thing for people. Proper informed consent, medical transparency, and medical freedom have also been removed from healthcare and our roles as nurses. Nurses are no longer able to do their important job of educating patients and families. Instead, we are to remain silent and do as we are told. Frontline nurses are confirming, as we've seen here today, that the current healthcare model focuses on practices that continue to fuel disease, causing harm that is sometimes even fatal. If another way exists that promotes healing, well-being, and empowered sovereign health, then it is our responsibility to investigate and implement new practices and change our profession. They need to be held accountable for what they're doing. And this applies to everyone in a place of power over humanity. Police, teachers, and doctors. We must remember why we entered into these professions, what called us to be in these areas to look out for our fellow neighbors, to want to protect them, help them, and make a positive impact in their lives and the community. As I look around our current society, I do not see hope. I see fear, illness, disempowered individuals. We have been made into victims. We've been taught from birth that our bodies are weak, that they are not good enough, and that we need pharmaceutical injections to keep us strong. We've been told to ignore our intuition and our gut instincts. We've been taught to place the responsibility of our bodies and our health into the hands of someone else. Too much time is spent researching illness and disease rather than prevention and actual health. True health and well-being are not found by someone else or in an injection or even from behind a mask. It's found from within us. After all that has happened to me this year, when I chose to speak out, it felt at first as though a huge door was being closed on who I identified myself as, an NICU nurse. Little did I realize how much more awaited me to really stand in my purpose, to make change, and be the nurse I was always meant to be. Do not let fear of the unknown stand in the way of a better future for you as you find your voice. It's time we all find our courage, our bravery, and our voices to stand firm and united in truth to do the right thing. When you begin to say enough is enough and stand up for truth, you will quickly realize you are not alone, as we are showing here today.
Yes.
We are supported and protected, and we are stronger when we all stand together. I know we can all be an example to the rest of the world. Nurses, it is our time to rise, to stand for a better world, and to take action daily in the practice of our sacred calling. We must follow our promise, devoting ourselves to the welfare of those committed to our care. As we stand here today, committed to be your voice, those in our care, which is all of you here today and beyond, we ask you to do the same for us. Stand up for your nurses, the ones that are trying to speak truth. Hold the college accountable for the silencing of nurses and the harms they are doing in the province of Ontario. Each and every one of us who have bravely attended today are here for a reason. We are here living and breathing in this time by intention. We need to shine our light so that others can find their way out of this darkness. We are here to change history, to make things right, to change the future of health and start a health revolution. We are allowing our rights, freedoms, and sovereignty to be removed at an alarming rate. When we no longer have autonomy over our own bodies and our children's, we have lost everything. This alone should terrify everyone and encourage more to speak out. So let us learn the lessons that history has taught us and correct the course of the future with our brave actions. Never underestimate the significance of one person standing up for freedom and the ripple effect that it can have. I know this because I started as just one person inspired by another that stood before me. This is the time to stand up and be bold, to envision the future you want, to go against the grain and stand on the right side of history to make everlasting change. As Susie Chasm stated, the price for standing up for truth, no matter how severe, will always be less than the price our souls will be penalized for not speaking up for our conscience.
That's right.
There is no greater crime in the universe than silencing your conscience. And I know nurses are being placed in that difficult position where they are put in the place to choose their soul over their career right now. So we must let the world know that we will not be silenced. We do not comply. We stand firm. We stand united. And enough is enough.